Wrong, brother.
The movie opens with James Reece, the efficient and affable personal aide to U.S. Ambassador Bennington in France. One morning, while briefing the ambassador about his schedule, he casually beats him at chess. Later, Reece slips into the building's dark parking garage. He is not only a personal aide, but also a low-level CIA operative, relegated to menial tasks, such as changing license plates on cars and handling the ambassador's security. He only watches from a distance when CIA field agents secretly use the logistics he sets up to complete their assignments. Eager for more, he dreams of becoming a top-level operative. On his way home, he calls his supervisor to ask for a promotion. Instead, his boss assigns him another task, delivering a surveillance chip to the foreign minister's conference room. At home, Reece realizes the chip was slipped into his jacket pocket, and he quickly hides it as his girlfriend, Caroline, knocks on the door. The next day, while accompanying the ambassador to a meeting with the foreign minister, Reece clumsily hides the chip under the desk, fastening it with a staple. That evening, Reece heads home and panics when he sees what looks like blood on the floor, only to discover it's just spilled sauce from Caroline's dinner. She then surprises him with a ring that once belonged to her father and proposes. Reece accepts, and Caroline makes him promise never to take it off. Soon after, he receives a call to extract his new partner, a field agent named Charlie Wax, who is being held at French customs. Reece is told that if he can pull off this job, he will be considered part of the Special Ops Club. At the airport, Reece meets Wax, a bald and brash agent detained for refusing to surrender cans of his favorite energy drink. Despite the apparent triviality, since Wax could easily buy more in Paris, he continues to verbally abuse the customs officers until Reece slaps the diplomatic mail sticker on Wax's luggage, containing the drinks, making them immune from inspection. Once in the car, Wax apologizes for his behavior as he opens the tins, revealing hidden parts of his Sig Sauer pistol, which he calls Mrs. Jones. Reece offers to get him any weapon he wants, but Wax insists this one is his life. He then tells Reece to drive to a Chinese restaurant. While eating, they argue about the food, and Reece's fluent Chinese slips out. Without warning, Wax grabs a waiter, presses his gun to the man's head, and demands information about cocaine. The restaurant staff, who are heavily armed themselves, rush in, but Wax opens fire, reloading with one hand while keeping hold of his hostage. After killing the staff, he tortures and interrogates the waiter, who denies knowing anything, though his nervous glance upward betrays him. Wax fires into the ceiling and white powder rains down. He orders Reece to collect some as evidence. Before leaving, Wax spares the terrified waiter, telling him to deliver a message to his boss. Driving away, Wax parks in an alley to wait. Soon, the surviving waiter passes by, heading straight toward his boss. Reece, uneasy, questions whether this is official CIA business. Wax explains he's investigating a Paris drug ring tied to the overdose death of a woman named Charlotte. Reece resists, arguing it has nothing to do with national security until Wax reveals Charlotte was the Secretary of Defense's niece. They arrive at the hideout of the restaurant owner, where a gang of street thugs tries to kick them out. Reece urges Wax to leave, but Wax refuses and takes the fight head-on. Even when one thug pulls a butterfly knife, Wax dismantles them with ruthless efficiency. After arming themselves, the two push inside. Wax storms through the building while Reece stays one floor below, covering his back. Wax tears through the guards with brutal precision, while Reece struggles to keep up, clearly unprepared for the carnage. At the top, they confront Mr. Wong, the restaurant owner, calmly watching a dance performance. Wax holds him at gunpoint and forces him, through Reece's translation, to give up the supplier's name and address. With the information secured, they attempt to leave, but Wong's men immediately give chase. A violent shootout erupts in a storage room. Wax mows down the attackers with expert marksmanship, while Reece, rattled but determined, narrowly survives. Later, Reece calls his CIA superior to complain about Wax's reckless methods. The response is blunt. Wax may be unorthodox, but he always gets results. Reece is ordered to follow Wax and complete the mission. Just then, Caroline calls, but the line cuts off when his phone dies. Wax reveals the overdose story was a cover. The real mission is to trace drug money back to a circle of Pakistani terrorists. He takes Reece to a brothel run by Pakistanis, posing as a customer. Rhys reluctantly plays along, but things turn when Caroline, shopping nearby, catches him and Wax in an elevator with a prostitute. Panicked, Rhys fears she'll believe the worst. Wax breaks into a room as Rhys holds a man at gunpoint to seize a phone charger. While Wax disappears into a room with a prostitute, Rhys is ordered to watch from the window to see if a Pakistani man withdraws a large bag of cash from the bank next door. As he watches, he tries calling Caroline to explain. Suddenly, two men burst in and beat him, while Wax calmly keeps watch at the window. With precision, Wax turns and instantly shoots them down. They then follow two Pakistani men leaving the bank onto the street. Along the way, Wax casually buys a hat and uses his high-tech watch to lock the suspect's van. As they tail their targets, he and Rhys unexpectedly bond when they discover they're both Star Trek fans. At the apartment complex, they pose as customers to buy cocaine. Instead, a street gang robs him at gunpoint, stealing Rhys's engagement ring. The dealer arrives, gives him 5 grams of cocaine, and takes the ring. Wax demands a kilo, but the dealer refuses and pulls a gun. Wax swiftly disarms him and holds him at gunpoint, while the other member holds the two of them at gunpoint too. The dealer explains, 5 grams is personal use, but a kilo carries a 15-year sentence. Thinking fast, Rhys drops the vase he carried around, revealing 5 kilos. The sight terrifies the gang, who immediately flees. After subduing the dealer, Rhys reclaims his ring. Wax praises him, saying he's finally becoming a real operative. The dealer leads them to the 11th floor, directly above the Pakistani terrorists' hideout. Using a camera stick, Wax scouts the room below. Wax rappels down through the window, guns blazing, while Rhys takes the stairs. When Wax spots bombs wired to the door, he warns Rhys not to enter. After cutting down more terrorists, Wax realizes the survivors have fled to the 9th floor. He orders Rhys to intercept, but when Rhys corners one, the man blows his own head off. 2 more terrorists sprint downstairs. Calculating their timing, Wax rigs a best bomb from the table and drops it out the window just as the men reach their car. The blast kills him instantly. As the dust settles, Rhys spots surveillance photos of himself plastered on the wall, proof that he's been watched for months. Before they can leave, police storm the 10th floor. Rhys tries to warn them about the explosives, but Wax stops him. It's too late. The bomb detonates, killing the officers. In the chaos, Rhys and Wax escape in a stolen police car. That night, Rhys returns to his apartment with Wax for dinner with Caroline and her friend Nichole. Mid-meal, Nichole answers a call asking for Rose. Without hesitation, Wax shoots her dead and then aims his gun on Caroline. He explains that Rose is a code found in every terrorist's phone, and the apartment is bugged. Rhys denies it until Wax pulls a bug from the lamp and reveals that the ring Caroline gave him is a tracker. Handing Rhys a gun, he suggests he trade the ring for the truth. To prove it, he places the ring near a radio, and the interference confirms it is transmitting. Without warning, Caroline shoots Rhys in the shoulder and leaps out the window, onto a rooftop. Wax follows, giving chase, but she escapes when a car picks her up. Thinking fast, Wax radios in her license plate for tracking. By morning, Wax uncovers more than 19 surveillance bugs hidden throughout Rhys's apartment. Still, Rhys struggles to accept that Caroline is a terrorist. Soon after, she calls from a payphone, apologizing. Agents trace the call as she recounts how 6 years earlier, a man saved her life and gave her purpose, someone she swore to follow. She hangs up seconds before the trace completes. The man is revealed to be Rashid, the terrorist leader, as she kisses his hand. Shortly after, Ambassador Bennington calls Rhys, asking where he is, since the U.S. delegation has just landed for the African Aid Summit, and Rhys is supposed to greet them. Realizing the terrorists plan to strike the delegation,
Wax mobilizes his team to protect the officials en route. On the way, Wax spots the car that picked Caroline up and gives chase, while Rhys searches through her belongings in the apartment. Wax shoulders a bazooka and takes aim, but he can't fire as the car switches lanes and obstacles block his shot. Meanwhile, Rhys discovers Caroline's sketches and realizes her true target is the summit. He quickly alerts Wax, telling him she isn't in the vehicle. Rhys races to the summit while Wax sets up an ambush on a bridge. As Rashid's car speeds towards the delegation, Wax fires, blowing it up seconds before it can reach its target. At the summit, security stops Rhys when they discover his gun. At the last second, Ambassador Bennington vouched for him, allowing him inside. Desperate, Rhys scans the crowd until he spots Caroline by her heels. He draws on her, but guards immediately turn their weapons on him. Caroline then reveals she's strapped with explosives. Rhys pleads with her to stop, insisting he loves her. For a moment, she seems to falter, but then prepares to detonate. With no choice, Rhys shoots her in the head. Wax rushes in and disarms the bomb, saving everyone. Outside, the head of the delegation angrily demands to know why the summit is delayed and tells the ambassador to fire whoever is responsible. In the closing scene, Rhys walks Wax to his plane. Wax challenges him to a game of chess, noticing Rhys now carries a gun. With a grin, Wax welcomes him to the club. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy to hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice just to be sure. It would be best if you watched the whole movie. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this.